3, 1, 1, 1. Hello, hello, hello. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 1. Sound check, mic check. Hello, hello, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. However, there is a slight, as always, technical difficulties with one of our cameras, which is currently off. Can we then switch to the tablet, to the phone? Yeah. So I have to use my phone instead of the camera, and hopefully you can hear me properly. We've tried to rectify it. However, it seems that that camera is completely off for some reason. So we will try to do this in this setup. I will just do one more thing for my colleague because he will lose his hearing if I won't turn this off. Please let me know in the chat whether you can hear me properly. If there is an echo, or if the sound quality. It would be really great if you can let us know if you can hear me properly in the chat on YouTube, and I will try to do this as good as possible with the circumstances that are currently in our little TV studio. I will have to move the camera somehow so that you can still see me, but it is not in a way. Can we switch to top-down, Ben? Okay, so it's here, but it's not that bad. And okay, thanks again for joining. Still, if you can let me know in the chat whether you can hear me properly, that would be awesome. I've got, again, a short presentation prepared, and this time we will be talking about, as you can see on the table, I've prepared a couple of Reactivos. So I would like to talk about how to work with multiple controllers, how the synchronization of multiple controllers work. Can we switch to me, Ben? How the synchronization of multiple controllers work, how you can use the standalone capabilities of the synchronization. That is, you have one controller that is controlling other different controllers connected to the same network, or to the one Reactivo on the network. And I will also show you quickly how to work with triggers, the default and basic settings for the triggers, what are different types of sensors, what buttons you can use, and overall how the triggers are actually working. If we can switch to PC, as I mentioned, I've got a short presentation, so this time we'll be talking about Reactivo and some advanced usage. Any questions you might have, please let me know in the chat and I will answer those as quickly as possible. Last time we were talking also about Reactivo, but about the very first setup that you have to do once you purchase the controller, how to connect it to your how to connect with your phone directly to Reactivo, and how to connect the Reactivo to your PC using your Ethernet wire. Also, I've shown you the content of the package and the difference, and explained the difference between OEM and full kit of the controller. That is, with full kit, you've got all the trigger boards, all the cables, and a lot of goodies. And OEM is for those of you that does not need all these accessories. They just need plain controller to use in their project, in their setup. There is also a price difference, so I encourage you to go to check our eShop and figure out for yourself which version might be good for your project and for your needs. And also I have shown you the web config and compared the web config with the LSS remote phone app that is available for your Android and iOS devices. And what settings are available within the app and what you can do in the web config. This time I will be also going a lot into the app and also into the web config, because there you are setting up your synchronization, your zones, and also you are setting up triggers in the web config and in the app, or triggers in the web config mainly. So that was the last webinar that we had. If you want, it is available on YouTube, so you can go and check it out. And any questions you might have, let us know in the comments and we'll be more than happy to answer those. I would also like to mention again, there is a manual for everyone who wants to have Reactivo or who is already working with Reactivo. And in that manual, there is extensive information about everything in regards to the controller. So go download it on our page in the support section, or in download section. Or go to support section, our wiki, and there search for Reactivo and you will find all the settings imaginable for the controller. I assume that there are no questions in regards to this, and we can then jump into why the synchronization of multiple controllers, or why even a single Reactivo is a good device for your project whenever you don't have a software that is playing the content and sending it to your devices. Reactivo is a great little controller that has a lot of standalone capabilities. Those standalone capabilities are great, as I mentioned, when you don't have a software running. You can have but multiple effects stored on an SD card, and those you can trigger by different means, by different triggers. And if you decide not to use the effects that you create in LED Strip Studio software, you can still play some content from the controller. For example, you can play test patterns. Those are mainly used to test whether you have selected correct IC for your controller and also whether the color order is correct. But you can still use it to play static colors or dimming colors, if that is enough for you. So you can use it like this. Also, there is within the LSS Remote app an option to play static colors, and that is multiple static colors. If you are okay with it and you only need a single static color, you can do this with the LSS Remote app and play such content on your pixel strips. What is, however, even better is whenever you have multiple controllers in your system. You might play the content on multiple controllers still from the software, and that is from any software, ours or any third-party software that is capable of sending out ArtNet, but you can also synchronize multiple devices without the software. They only need to be on the same network, and there are multiple ways how you can connect them to a single network. What is great with this network synchronization is that you can have a single device, and that single device will then control the content playing from multiple other devices. We call this master-slave synchronization. So you have one master device, and that is sending out synchronization data, basically a timecode, to your slaves, to controllers connected on the network. How do I do this? I don't know. Okay. And so you can play effects from multiple controllers and triggering those only from a single master device. And also what works with the synchronization is you can play the test patterns on all devices at the same time. So that way you can very quickly check and test whether the color order is proper, or you can play the same color on multiple devices if you choose from the LSS Remote app the static color. I assume that there is no question in regards to this as well, so I can check. Yes. As I mentioned, there are different ways, different means how to trigger the effects from the controllers. Those we call triggers, and those triggers, can we go back to the presentation, Ben? Thanks. And those, so we call these triggers, and those triggers can be sent out from different sources. You can have physical buttons and physical sensors connected to Reactivo. If you have multiple devices, you only have to connect that trigger, that button or sensor to your master device, and that will trigger on all slave controllers, on all connected devices. So it can be physical buttons, physical sensors, or it can be your phone app. And again, in synchronization mode, in a Ethernet synchronization, you are using your phone LSS remote app to trigger the effects on multiple devices, using the app only from your master device, and that will play the effects on all other connected devices. As I mentioned, you can also use the web config player, which has very similar capabilities to the player that is in LSS remote app. However, if you don't have the app installed on your phone, you can just access an IP of the master controller and use the web player that is, it's basically an HTML page in the device. So you don't have to, if you don't like apps, you don't have to install it. You can play it directly from that device using the web player in the web config. You can set up your default file, which is another way how to trigger effects, or you can set up a playlist using both the LSS remote app or the web config player. So overall, pretty strong capabilities in standalone mode. If you have any means how to, can we go back to presentation, Ben, to trigger the effects? Let's say you have the controllers, multiple controllers on the network, and you have any device. It does not have to be PC. A good example that we are using from time to time is a Shelly device. So it's this little box that you can connect to your network, and you can send out HTTP triggers. These are simple commands that can trigger effects, change the brightness, speed, and overall you can control the content. And the list of all available HTTP triggers you can find on our page. This is in the support section in Wiki. And you can find the list of all available HTTP triggers. And these are for our two other devices, LEC3 SPI matrix, but also for Reactivo. And here you can see the full list. Maybe you can zoom this out a bit. So for example, you will into your browser type in the IP address of your device, and then you will choose which trigger you want to use. For example, you want to play a specific animation, so after the IP address, you will copy this trigger and you will select the X is your animation. So you will select which animation you want to play. You can have multiple you can have multiple triggers, multiple commands in a single line. So that way you can play animation 10, set up the brightness to a different value, not to default, and also you can change the speed. So you can do quite a lot with this. Go download this, it's pretty good. And this would be an example with the Shelly device that we are using from time to time in our projects. There is also a video here if you need a more in-depth explanation about HTTP triggers. Go check out the Wiki page in the support section. So these are the options how you can trigger the effects from the Reactivo controller. As I mentioned, you can use buttons, sensors, you can use your phone app, or you can use the web config or HTTP triggers. And all this you can do without using your PC. Any questions, Ben? Great. So then I think we can jump into the next part of the webinar, which is, I called it Advanced Networking. And in this section, I would like to explain to you how to connect multiple devices onto a same network and set up your zones. That is, you select one device that will be a master device, and it will control other controllers connected to it or bundled in the same zone. If you are using your Ethernet cable, can we go to top down? Great. If you are using your Ethernet cable, then it's a very good option actually, because you can use the RJ45 port on the device. You can take your Ethernet cable, connect it directly into a router, and once you will connect it into a router, the device, the Reactivo controller, is set to get in default. I mean, when you unpack it from the box, in default it's set to get the IP address automatically. So you will just connect it with the cable into your router, and it will get an IP address automatically, and you can use the phone app to manage zones, to connect to your Reactivos, to set up the brightness, to set up the color order, the correct IC, and basically everything in regards to the controller. If you want to set your IP addresses manually, I've explained in the latest webinar how you can do this. You have to connect first into your device, into your controller using Wi-Fi, and then in the app you can set manually for the wired connection the IP address of your device. This is probably a good example would be when you have a more complicated naming and IP structure in your project, and you want to have total control over what IPs your devices has on the network, because probably you have some already reserved for your other controllers, for your other devices, etc. on the network. So you want to have a total control. So first, connect over Wi-Fi to your device, set up the IP address manually, and then you can connect it with an Ethernet cable to your switch or to your router. If you want, there is also an option, so you will connect to your router, and then you can set in the app, use these IP settings for the wired connection. That is also an option. So if you are happy with the automatically assigned IPs to your devices, then you can use this. Perfect. Thanks, Ben. So these are the two options if you want to use the wired connection, that is an Ethernet cable. I will just once again mention that with the controller, although it has an Ethernet port and also a Wi-Fi module, you can't use both at the same time. So you can only use either Ethernet cable or a Wi-Fi connection. So you can't use both at the same time. If you wanted to, it's not really an option with this device. This covers the wired connection whenever you use the Ethernet cable. So you are using either router or a switch. You are setting up the IP address manually with the switch, or with a router, the device will get the IP from the DHCP server from the router automatically, and you don't have to worry about IPs at all. If you want to use a Wi-Fi connection, can we switch to presentation, which is also an option. You're not using an Ethernet cable, it is not connected to your device at all. You are connecting with the phone app to your device first, and then you are selecting which router or which network you want to connect your device to. And again, the controller will get the IP address automatically from the DHCP server, and you are good to go. You can use multiple controllers. you have to do this also, of course, one by one. So you will connect using your phone. You will connect using your phone to each and every one of the devices, and manually you will connect them to your router. Do you know what I'm looking for, Ben? For the red phone. I was looking for the phone, and it is the one that I am using actually as my main camera. So I wanted to show you, you can also find this in the previous webinar, but I wanted to show you again how you can do the connection of a single controller to a network. So you will select one Reactivo. So these are the, can you switch to top down? So these are the three controllers that I have on the table. Although you can see that the Ethernet cable is connected to it, it is not going to a switch or to a router right now. So I am not using the Ethernet port. That is why I can see them in the list of available networks on the phone. And for example, if I want to connect this controller to my router, I will connect to it first. I can check whether I am connected to it. You can take the pen out. So you can see Reactivo. This is the serial number of the device, so I am currently connected to it. And I can go into LSS Remote app. If I will click on the cogwheel, this web page will open. This will always be in this format, so 4.1, and I will select which network I want to connect it to. And here is Reactivo test. That is my router that I have here. So you will select it. It's type in the password and you will connect to your router. I've chosen a very strong password, Reactivo 2. And now if I will connect to that router, one of the devices should be there once I will open the LSS Remote app, which we can reset. What we can again show, Ben, on top down, I've connected it successfully to the router, so the blue LED is on, and I know that I am connected to it through the router using Wi-Fi. I can play Identify, and I am 100% sure that this is the device that I want to work with. Once again, if you have multiple devices, in my case 3, you have to connect them using this method one by one to your router in order to use, for example, the network synchronization using Wi-Fi. Okay. So I think that for the wired connection and for the Wi-Fi connection, this is this should explain it, how you can connect a single unit and also how you can connect multiple units using Wi-Fi. Once again, you have to do it one by one with each Reactivo. Or you can use an Ethernet cable and connect all your devices into your router. And remember, the settings of the controller are that the Reactivo will get the IP address automatically once you will connect it to a router. Because it is set to a DHCP client, so it will receive the IP. If you will connect this to a simple switch, this would not work because that does not have a DHCP server, so it cannot assign the IP addresses to your devices. And this is what I want to do now. I've got my router, I've got my Ethernet cables, and I will connect all the controllers to my router. This blue LED should go off once I will connect it here. You see, it's now off. That means that you are no longer using Wi-Fi, but rather an Ethernet connection, or a wired connection, as we call it within the LSS Remote app. When we can connect a third one. And if I will now use the LSS Remote app, you see I'm still connected to my router, which is called Reactivo Test. And now I can see all three devices using a wired connection. I can again identify all of them. Thanks, Ben. So 1, 2, 3. I'm good to go. I can start to setting up the master controller and setting up the synchronization. Perhaps before that, it's a good idea to test in the app whether the color order is set up properly. But I have done this beforehand, so hopefully it is set up okay. But I even tested my camera beforehand and it's not working now, so maybe it's a good idea to do this first. So RGB, that's fine. Switch to phone. Don't forget, whenever you are using the testing patterns, always hit stop testing because that has priority. So we can save this and just quickly in device settings, that is the same device. Stop testing. Device settings. So RGB, that is fine. And for the last one, RGB, that is also fine. So we will hit save. What you can see here, an animation library, you can see all the effects that are currently stored on an SD card. So if I will play animation number 19 or 29, you can see that something is going on. Some content is being sent from the device onto my LED pixels. And you can choose one by one. So for this Reactivo, I will choose this effect. And for this Reactivo, I will choose another effect. So you can do this one by one. You can do this one by one, which is fine, which is okay. In some projects, you want to do it like this. You want to have a control over each and every unit. You will access them through the app one by one, and you will select the effects that you want to play. However, what is great in regards to standalone capabilities of Reactivo is that you can control only a single device and through that device control the content on all other devices, and there really is no limit to how many controllers you can use. Imagine that you have a complicated installation where you used 3 controllers and you want the pixels connected to those 3 controllers, or LED strips connected to those controllers, to play or to behave like a single display, like a single surface. You want to play a pattern that goes from left to right, and you want basically those pixels to behave as a single display. They can play independent effects, but once in a while we want to do this effect, this wow effect, where they will play a single animation. And that is where Reactivo and the network synchronization is very strong. How you can set this up? You will go into the LSS remote app, and remember we have all the controllers on the same network, so that way you can see 1, 2, 3 devices, and you will pick one that will be your master device, your synchronization unit, the controller that is sending out timecode, if you will. We can choose, for example, this one, and we will rename it to master. So this will be our master device. You can go into the web config, and there in settings you can find all the important information and settings for the controller, and you can find, this is probably important to mention, you can find all the settings in the web config and only a portion in the LSS remote app. There you can find the basic settings. In the web config you can find everything. So this is important, I think, to mention. So if you will open the settings, you will go into the part that says network synchronization, and you will select this controller to be your master device. Don't forget to hit save whenever you change any settings. If you have multiple, so what does a zone mean? You can have multiple zones, and you will see them separately in the LSS remote app. So imagine you've got 3 controllers that you want to control as a single independent zone, and then you have another 5 controllers that will be in a second zone. You will see both in the LSS remote app, and you want to have independent control over them. So that is why it is important to pick which zone you want to use. So we want to use the first zone, but you can have up to 256. And you can also rename the zone. So say mine 1. We will hit Save Settings. And now if we will go to LSS Remote App, you can see that there is already a zone with an index 1 and with the name that I have selected for it. There are 2 more options here. Once you create the zone in the web config, you can then see it in the LSS remote app, and you can manage it. And what does managing means? Without the need to go into the web config for your slave controllers anymore, you can add multiple devices into same zone. So I will choose Manage Zones, and there you can see my other 2 devices. So I will simply choose which zone I want to use. I obviously have only one, so I will select that one and I will add it into a zone. And same I will do with my second device. And watch what will happen. Can we go to top down, Ben? I've already added, so this is my master device, master controller. I've already added this device into my zone, and as you can see already they are playing the same effect. If I will add this controller, it automatically switches to the animation that the master is actually playing. So we can actually check. It's animation number 1. So as soon as I connect, or as soon as I add the device into the zone, they will start to play the animation that the master is playing. And now I can simply scroll between the effects, and that one that I will choose will play on will play on all devices connected to that zone. If I would place the LED strips one next to each other, you would be able to see, and we've got some videos already showing this, you will be able to see that the synchronization is perfect to the pixel. So if I would be able to line them up next to each other perfectly, you will see that the synchronization over, and I'm now using the wired connection, is working flawlessly. You can set up in the animation library which animation is playing, but you can also choose static colors, and that way you can play on all your devices a static color. So if we will choose whatever this color is, you can see that I am changing it on all 3 devices. And I can also tune down the brightness if I need to on all 3. Or in the to remove this. Or I can select in animation library multiple effects and decide I want to add them to a playlist. So if I will go to playlist now, you can see these are the effects that I've added there. There are multiple settings like contrast and speed for each effect that you have in the playlist. If you are not happy with an effect, you can simply delete it. And then, once you are happy with the settings, you can play it. So this is the very simple playlist that I have created in the LSS Remote app. And all the controllers now have the same effects on SD cards. And these are the default effects that you get once you purchase the controller from us. So if you will go into the app, then you can see how the animations are scrolling. If I want to decide that this animation I want to loop indefinitely, I will simply use this option here and it will loop. So I will play the playlist again, select this animation to loop, and as you can see, yeah, thanks. As you can see, now it will loop. So, for example, you can choose for your playlist 20 effects, 40, 50, doesn't really matter. And for the last effect that you want to loop indefinitely, you will select that option in the LSS Remote app. If you decide that you will that you don't want to play or use the playlist anymore, you will simply pause it and then select another animation that you want to play. If you decide that you don't want to use any of the controllers in a zone anymore, then again you will go into the app, you will click on Manage Zones, open it, and you will decide, okay, I don't want to use this device in the zone anymore. And if we'll go back to top down, it will keep playing the animation, the last played animation, but after a while it will get out of sync. There is a good indication on the controller itself. Whenever this green LED is blinking, it means that it is in a zone, so you know that this is your slave device, your slave controller, and this one is not in the zone anymore. So after a while, even though they are playing the same animation, they will get out of sync. Once I will remove the master, there is still a zone available. However, there is no master to synchronize the multiple units. But again, I can go into Manage Zones and I will add them. And you can see all this are here. And you have to select which device, even though you can see that in the name it says master. Here you can see that all three are in the app ban, sorry. In the app you can see that these are actually all slave controllers. So there is no master. So I can decide which controller will be my master, and I want to use this one. So Reactivo 2 master, save, and everything is now working, everything is now in sync. And I can change the effects. We can go back into the camera. So this is how you can connect multiple devices onto a SAM network, use the synchronization, network synchronization, set up one controller that would be your master device, basically a synchronization unit serving as a timecode device that will synchronize the content over multiple controllers. Great standalone feature whenever you want to have multiple devices on site in your project, but you don't want to have a PC with the software running at all times. You can even use it for moving objects. As I've explained in the last webinar, you can use a power bank or a battery to power your LED strips and use this synchronization over Wi-Fi and control multiple units with your phone, even on moving objects or on costumes, for example, which we've done in the past for some clients. They wanted to use Reactivo for their costumes, for their events, and they want to have an option to control them one by one, but also to control them with using a single device only. So that is what the synchronization is great for with the Reactivo device. Any questions, Ben? No? Great. Can we go to the presentation? I think that I have covered basically everything for the synchronization. What is the time? It's already 5. Okay. I think if we still have some time, do you still have some time, Ben? we can cover triggers, or this is caused by the delay at the very beginning. I'm sorry for that. And since it's already 5, or we are very close to 5, I think that we will cover this topic, unless someone will write in the chat that they want to hear about triggers. I think that we will cover this topic some next time. Because simply we don't have time. I will send out an email when you can expect this, or is there someone who really wants to hear about the triggers pen? No message? Probably not. I can probably... Okay, we will do this the next time. I'm sorry once again for the delay at the very beginning. Everything was working last time I have checked, but it's the technique that we are working with. Sometimes it's not working properly. I am happy that I was able to cover at least this. So the synchronization and how to connect multiple devices onto a network using either your Wi-Fi or using your Ethernet cable, which tends to be more stable compared to Wi-Fi. So always, whenever there is a space or place with a lot of users with their phones, opt for a wired connection. Ethernet network synchronization or Wi-Fi synchronization, great standalone feature with Reactivo, where you can have multiple devices in a zone and control that zone and the content playing on those strips using your phone app with single controller. Or you can also use HTTP triggers for that matter. So you will send only single command to your master unit, and it will play on all connected devices, on all connected controllers. Someone is really missing me. Thanks again for joining. I will send out probably tomorrow an email when you can expect a webinar, which will be much shorter about the triggers. And I will show you how to use triggers and how to set them up. Thank you very much for joining. Enjoy the rest of the day, and I'll see you next time. Thanks again. Bye.